Match week 6 of La Liga kicked off in midweek. The first time this season, Spain's top flight has scheduled a full round of fixtures outside the weekend. And league leaders Real Madrid marked the occasion in style, sweeping newly promoted Levante aside with a commanding 4-1 win on the road. It was their highest-scoring game of the campaign so far, and more importantly, the most convincing performance Los Blancos have produced under Xabi Alonso across the opening 6 rounds. Up against an opponent lacking heavy firepower, Alonso took the chance to rotate his squad, lining up in a 3-4-2-1. Eder Militão, fresh off scoring a wonder goal at the weekend, was given a rest. The back three in front of Courtois featured Dean Huijsen, Raúl Asensio, and Álvaro Carreras. Fran Garcia and Franco Mastantuono covered the wings, while Dani Ceballos and captain Federico Valverde controlled the midfield, with Aurelien Tchouameni also on the bench. In attack, Vinícius Júnior and Arda Güler operated behind the spearhead, Kylian Mbappé. The day before, Real Madrid had dominated headlines, not for their football, but for boycotting the Balon d'Or ceremony. Yet the reasoning behind that decision became clear. With less than 24 hours separating the gala in Paris and this away trip to Levante, flying back and forth was simply not feasible. Travel fatigue could have disrupted their preparations badly. Instead, Alonso kept his squad focused, rotated smartly, and the performance on the pitch showed the plan worked. In the 20th minute, Mastantuono rattled the crossbar with a follow-up effort. 8 minutes later, Vinícius Júnior broke the deadlock with a gorgeous outside-of-the-boot finish. It was a statement moment. Criticized for his dip in form, his attitude, and even slipping to 16th in the Ballon d'Or rankings, the Brazilian answered back in the best way possible, on the pitch. 10 minutes after his opener, Vini turned provider. His perfectly timed ball set up Mastantuono, who coolly slotted home his first-ever goal for Real Madrid. On the touchline, Xabi Alonso erupted with joy, not because the opponent was Levante, hardly a heavyweight, but because the young Mastantuono, fresh to European football and trusted with a chance, had finally announced himself in the famous white shirt. The second half brought its own drama. After Levante pulled one back in the 54th minute, the stage was set for Kylian Mbappé to steal the spotlight. And in just 3 minutes, between the 64th and 66th, he did exactly that. First, he buried a penalty with trademark composure. Moments later, he latched onto an Arda Güler assist to slot home his second, sealing a 4-1 victory. With that, Real Madrid march on with a flawless 18 points from 6 games, still sitting proudly at the top of La Liga. Mbappé, meanwhile, continues to tear the league apart. 7 goals in 6 matches, a frightening strike rate. Add Vinicius, rediscovering his spark, Mastantuono netting his first in white, Mbappé maintaining his ruthless form, and Güler chipping in with creativity. It was a night where Real's entire attacking quartet delivered perfection. The only blemish? A defense that couldn't quite keep a clean sheet. But overall, this was Alonso's most impressive win since taking charge, and that, in itself, is remarkable. Few giants hit top gear straight away. A draining summer schedule, including the FIFA Club World Cup, combined with the need to integrate new signings, usually means a sluggish start. Real Madrid had all of those hurdles. Fresh arrivals like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Álvaro Carreras, Dean Huijsen, and the teenage Mastantuono, plus the seismic shift of Carlo Ancelotti stepping down and Xabi Alonso stepping in. Under those circumstances, to begin the league season with 6 wins from 6 is worthy of praise. Results-wise, it's been perfect. Performance-wise, that's another story. Alonso's Madrid haven't yet dazzled the purists. Cast your mind back. Opening day against Osasuna, decided only by a clever tumble from Mbappé inside the box. Against Real Sociedad, Huijsen's red card left his teammates clinging on for dear life to scrape 3 points. In the Champions League, Marseille even struck first at the Bernabeu before Dani Carvajal saw red in a game turned by controversial penalties. Yes, Madrid won, but even many of their own supporters admitted it was a dirty win. But last night, all of those lingering concerns seemed to fade away. Yes, Levante were weak opposition, freshly back in La Liga after years away, sitting on just 4 points compared to Madrid's 18. The gulf in class was obvious, yet that shouldn't take away from the performance Xabi Alonso's men produced. Since the start of the season, Madrid had been praised mostly for systemic improvements under their new coach, especially in defense. The attack, however, was seen as overly reliant on Kylian Mbappé for goals. Against Levante, that narrative was flipped on its head. Los Blancos' front line looked reborn, no longer dependent on their French superstar. Vinícius Júnior rediscovered his scoring touch, while the 16-year-old wonder kid, Mastantuono, opened his account in white. Vini, in particular, deserves special credit. After showing his frustration at being subbed off in the previous match, he responded in the perfect way, with a dazzling performance. He scored a beautifully taken goal, set up another, and, crucially, showed maturity by drifting into spaces outside his comfort zone. On Madrid's opener, he popped up on the right flank, not his natural side, but it created the movement that unlocked Levante. That willingness to adapt, to play for the collective, made him the standout performer. Man of the match was fully deserved. If defense is the foundation of any successful team, attack is the real barometer of how fluent and complete a side can become. And in Valencia, Real Madrid provided the answer. Their front line was electric, their combinations sharper, their confidence higher. This wasn't just 3 more points, it was a statement that Alonso's project is beginning to click into gear. His confidence is growing, his players are responding, and suddenly, Madrid looked like a team that's heating up at just the right time. Real Madrid are off to a flying start, but to be precise, this is Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid, and Alonso himself carries the very essence of what makes a top manager. The key difference between seasoned coaches and their younger counterparts lies in experience. Experience brings flexibility, composure, and the courage to adapt to each unique situation. No one embodied that better than Sir Alex Ferguson. In 26 years at Old Trafford, he was rarely wedded to a fixed starting 11. Ferguson wasn't rigid. He had the authority and confidence to rotate and adapt, tailoring his team to the demands of each opponent and circumstance. Younger managers, by contrast, can sometimes allow the pressure of results to box them in. They stick to a formula that works, fearing the backlash that comes with change. Even Mikel Arteta, Alonso's close friend, has faced criticism from Arsenal fans for being too inflexible at times. But Alonso is different. At just 43 and in one of the most unforgiving jobs in world football, he has shown remarkable flexibility. Pressure doesn't shake him. He rotated his squad against Levante, and it paid off in emphatic fashion. In truth, anyone who followed Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen shouldn't be surprised. Back then, he had 2 prolific strikers in Victor Boniface and Patrick Schick, yet there were matches where he benched both. Leverkusen still went on to win the Bundesliga. That's Alonso in a nutshell, never afraid to change, always brave enough to trust his vision. Real Madrid, quite simply, have a big-time manager. And just look at what lies ahead. This weekend brings the Madrid Derby at the Wanda Metropolitano. Atletico may not be in sparkling form, but derbies are never straightforward. Then, just 3 days later, Los Blancos face a grueling 8,000-kilometer trip to Kazakhstan in the Champions League. If not for rotating against Levante, then when? Alonso's foresight may prove decisive. Alonso's decision to rotate couldn't have come at a better time, because what lies ahead for Real Madrid is nothing short of a gauntlet. After Atletico and the long trip to Kazakhstan, Los Blancos face a brutal stretch between October 5th and November 5th. Villarreal, Juventus, Barcelona, and Liverpool. Villarreal and Barca in La Liga, Juve and Liverpool in the Champions League. Every one of those fixtures is a heavyweight clash Madrid simply cannot afford to lose. Alonso knows it, which is why he's doing everything to keep his squad fresh and firing. Only when they've come through that run will we truly know just how special this Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso really is. The 4-1 demolition of Levante was more than just another 3 points to stay top of La Liga. It was a statement about depth, about balance, about a team starting to take on the complete identity of their new coach. Most importantly, it was the night Vinícius Jr. rediscovered his spark. After the frustration of being subbed off last week, his dazzling performance was not only a personal redemption, but also a powerful sign that the dressing room is united and ready for the storm ahead. Real Madrid have warmed up at just the right time. Now the stage is set. The Madrid Derby this weekend, followed by a month of unrelenting challenges. The question is, can Alonso and his players ride the wave and prove they are truly built for greatness?